And we're back with Stacy Washington, also known as Stacy on the right. And earlier in the segment, she mentioned their new governor who put out an ad during the campaign of him blowing stuff up. Let's take a look.
I'm Eric Greitens. For too long, Missouri's been run by career politicians, owned by corrupt consultants, high-paid lobbyists, and special interests. While they get rich, Missourians are hurting. Well, I'm no career politician. I'm a Navy SEAL, and I'll take dead aim at politics as usual. I'm Eric Greitens. If you're ready for a conservative outsider, I'm ready to fire away.
That was rather explosive.
We were ready for a conservative outsider here in Missouri. So that's
I like the fact he's running an SBR too, as an extra nod to the yeah. So
pretty cool.
yeah, I'm not mad at it because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried. I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cheesy, but I'm like, no, not really, no, not at all.
Well, and he wasn't the only one. It was like a campaign season of gun type ads. Another person who ran actually took apart a gun in 30 seconds on the ad and then put it back together. So we had quite a bit of that going on, and it was fantastic. I actually thought it was creative. It was a good way to get people to, hey, look at this ad. So, more power to them. Anything that shows guns as tools as opposed to showing us something big and scary that jumps up on its own and runs across and does stuff. I'm for it.
They call those Democrats. I'm all for politicians pandering to gun owners as far as I'm concerned. There's been this kind of onslaught of vilification with respect to firearms in this country where it's always kind of this hush-hush, like, don't talk about that in the public. That is bad. But yet we have an entire Constitution that the Second Amendment of that Constitution was about firearms, but somehow firearms are bad. I'm at a loss.
Even Jesus' disciples carried swords and they would lopping off people's ears. So, it's biblical. It's biblical to defend ourselves. Look, I've got something else. Instead of that purple thing, I've got this big thing.
She pulled out another one. She pulled out
It's so cute. Look at these little holes inside of the little trigger thing here. And it has some special thing. It doesn't work until you put your hand into here.
Yeah, the hand grip.
You see? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is called, but it's cool. I bought that for my husband. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a quiet 1911 fan. I give him a hard time, but openly I give him a hard time, but secretly I'm a fan of 1911s.
I am too.
So you did good there. You did really good there. Applause.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about campus carry. What are some of the changes that are going on, or attempted changes going on with respect to campus carry in Missouri that you're aware of?
Well, actually, I think what we're working towards here is we're all in support of the 50-state reciprocity.
Gotcha.
And once we're able to get something like that done, then we have the ability to kind of pivot to campuses.
Gotcha.
The problem with the campuses is that, like, for instance, Missouri State, Mizzou, as people call it, Mizzou Tigers, that's our big kind of flagship university here. It's our state school. And the problem we have there is there's a lot of liberals who are on campus and they've really got it on lockdown. So it's not so much that we're going to have trouble passing it through the legislature.
Yeah.
It's that you've got the unions, teachers unions, and then these professional, they're professional agitators, really. They have a huge lobby down in Jeff City, and the rural legislators feel pretty bound to them. So I haven't actually heard anything about campus carry here in Missouri.
Okay.
But the first order of business for us is to provide as much support as we can to the national reciprocity movement.
Gotcha.
Because we have actually really good reciprocity as Missourians with a lot of different states. I think we're up to 30.
Okay.
But it's ridiculous that I have 20 that don't work. Namely, my neighbor to the east here, Illinois, where I actually, if I'm going there, I need to first see how this gun is unloaded. Look, snowflakes, there's nothing inside. So what I have to do is take my gun and I have to unload it like this. Nothing in the chamber. This is empty. I have to put the gun in the glove box and lock it. Now, who remembers where that key is? Do you remember where your glove box key is? I'm driving a minivan, okay? If I find the key again, I win the lottery if I find that key. Then I have to take the magazine itself and put it in the trunk of the van so that they're separate and they can't be together. That is ridiculous. Do you know how easy it is for me to drive to Illinois? There's 3 bridges that go to Illinois from here. I mean, I just could be on my way to my gun seller and be in Illinois and then remember, oh no, I've got my pea shooter and a few other things, and they're loaded. So I need to pull over and undo that. So it's ridiculous. I think the more stringent gun laws are also the states where they have the most gun crime. Let's undo that. I'd love to work on.
It's interesting how I thought as a society one of our goals was to create less criminals. But yet when it comes to issues of firearms, it's almost like their goal is to do everything possible to turn people who aren't otherwise criminals into criminals. Because you're right. I think that especially for people who live really close to different state borders, I mean, you like you said, I mean, there's so much going on in our lives that we have to be concerned about. The last thing I need to be worried about is whether or not I've crossed into Illinois and my gun isn't, one piece of my gun is in the glove box, the other piece is in my trunk, and the other piece is in a purse, and the other piece is in my hood. Like it's incredibly moronic. It's stupid, and from a safety standpoint, you're actually making people unbelievably vulnerable. Because if I find myself in this, and that's another problem too, is like, which is why I applaud the governor of Missouri at this point, because, you know, he is somebody who understands the implications and the tactical implications of owning a firearm for self-defense. But because a lot of these politicians don't really honestly believe in the notion of self-defense, you can't. If you are anti-gun, you can't possibly believe in the notion of self-defense, because it is the most effective tool possible in terms of defending yourself from an attack in many ways. You don't disavow the use of a fire extinguisher in terms of eliminating a fire when it comes to fire safety. Like, I don't understand why you can't see that correlating with the firearm. But, you know, to have to undergo this kind of smorgasbord of just arbitrary laws and requirements in terms of where my gun needs to be, how disassembled it needs to be. We're not worried about us. We're not the people you're worried about. And then on top of that, it's like, I can't say it. I can't say it anymore. And the problem is we say it so much now, it almost seems cliche, but it is the God honest truth. Criminals don't follow laws. That's why they're called criminals. But I'm afraid that statement is losing its effectiveness because we say it so much, but yet somehow it doesn't just drill into their heads, and they just don't seem to understand that, or they just don't want to understand it because they know once they do, the whole basis for the argument completely tumbles.
It does. And the other thing that they don't seem to really care about when we talk about the Democrats and they're the party of the National Organization of Women. They're the party that's supposed to care about the JJ suits and the anatomical suits and all that stuff. And their women are always out talking about their rights. But the fact is, the right to carry a firearm is the greatest equalizer there is for women. And obviously, I'm not saying we don't need the vote, or let's not go all medieval on me. I'm talking about in self-defense. Yeah. And one thing that really bothers me about the whole conversation surrounding guns and women is the fact that as American women, not only can I testify in a court of law, and my testimony has the same weight as yours, Colion, but it's also that I can carry a firearm just like you can in places where I'm legally permitted to carry. I am permitted to carry just as you are as a man. I can own property. I can own businesses that employ men where I would then be their boss. What am I talking about in comparison to? The Middle East, the favorite place of all the liberals right now, their cause du jour. So when I hear them talk about gun control, what I hear is that they want to oppress and deprive women of the rights that make us equal here in this country. And it's not every man that I need to have a firearm for. But in the situation that so many women have found themselves in, I don't want to be unequal in that situation. So, you can say whatever you want about me as an American. I really don't care. But I really care if I can still carry my firearm and protect myself. And I haven't had to use it yet, but that's not the point. It's not about need. I don't have 16 pairs of boots because I need them. I don't work because I need to work. My husband supports his family. I don't have to be on TV. I don't have to do anything. Yeah. I do things because I can. I'm an American chick, hot-blooded, hot in every way possible about being an American, and that's what I'm going to do. And for people who want to take that from me, my only question is, which of you is going to come over here and get these things? Which of you who are gun control nuts are going to come over here and ring my doorbell and come get something?
Here's the.
I never get an answer.
Because you're not going to. It's the same reason why these individuals, the ones who get all in a fluster about the fact that I'm like, because people, they always ask me, it's like, okay, you keep saying all these gun control laws don't work. What would you do? What laws do you want to play? I was like, get rid of gun-free zones. You're like, preposterous. Why would you get rid of gun-free zones? That's just, are you serious right now? I'm like, okay, would you put this house is a gun-free house sign in front of your house? Yeah. Silence, because you understand the implications of it. So stop acting like it's any different in terms of going to a store or going to any other building around here. Stop it. And the irony also on top of that is the same people who yell and scream about women's ability to do whatever they want with their body, but then somehow want to tell you how you choose to protect it. Get out of here with that nonsense, man. They're completely full of it. And we're also completely full out of time.
Awesome. Well, wait, one more gratuitous gunshot. Look, snowflakes. She's got a really big, mean, angry AR-15 with a scope, so I can see you before I shoot you. There we go.
Well, I would hope you would see them before you shot it.
Well, I mean, I want to be able to see the whites of their eyes and all the details. I want to see if they brush their teeth last. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, thank you very much, Stacy. It's always a pleasure, and I hope you join us again at some point.
Thanks for having me on, Colion.
Anytime. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. When we come back, Frank Wynn from America's First Freedom joins us on another side of the break. We're going to be talking about some long guns and some not so long guns.